What up? What's poppin', y'all? Let's get into it, man. We got some stuff to talk about. The Warriors still haven't technically made a move, but there's some information floating around. There's some intel out there. So we're going to talk about the latest with the Warriors, man. Also, we're going to touch on Summer League and see what's going on with the Warriors prospects. Because I got some opinions. I got some thoughts. I got some first impressions of the two guys that the Warriors drafted, Alex Tuhi and Will Richards. Also, Taron Armstrong. So we're gonna check out all three of those guys. I'm gonna give my thoughts. And once a few people get up in here, we can get started, man. Mr. Level, what's good, my G? Good to see you, my man. Yeah, I know it's a abrupt, short notice stream, but my bad, y'all. We ain't gonna talk about Thomas Bryant this stream, bro. Thomas Bryant got caught so many strays last stream because of you. What's up, Drip Lord? Yeah, man. I appreciate you, Mr. Level. Thanks for showing up, bro. Pulled up on me. Let's get a roll call in here. First 10 people, man. Let's get a roll call. Let me see everybody's name in there. Say what's up. How's y'all Saturday going? Everybody say where y'all from. That would be dope just to see where everybody's tapping in from. And then we're going to get started in a little bit. Raymond Kelly, what's up, bro? Timmy Copley, let's get it, man. What's up? Ambadat, what's up, man? Okay, Mr. Level, I see you, bro. How you like Texas, man? Cool, what's up, man? All right, we're going to get into it, bro. Timmy Copley, I see you, bro. That's what's up, man. All right, we're going to get into it. Let's start with Summer League. So Summer League, their last game against the Blazers last night was pretty pathetic. They got annihilated. What was it, a 30-point blowout? They were down 20 after the first quarter, something like that, 20 plus. So I'm going to give my thoughts on Alex Tuhi, Will Richards, and Taron Armstrong. Starting with let's start with Tuhi, man. So Alex Tuhi, 6'9" power forward, played for the Sydney Kings, a team in Australia owned by Andrew Bogut, by the way. So obviously you can tell Andrew Bogut been in the Warriors' ears, giving them insight on Tuhi here. That probably played into the draft prospect process. The Warriors probably had a extra set of eyes on Tuhi because Bogut was hyping him up. And I'm sure that definitely played a part. But anyways, so Alex Tuhi, 6'9" power forward, Australian kid. I believe he's 21 years old. So, look, man, it's only Summer League. I'm not going to overreact. I'm not, because Summer League is not always like the best showing for players' skill sets in terms of projecting what they're going to be in the NBA. It's a completely different scenario. You got a bunch of guys thrown on teams. They've been playing together, practicing together for like a week, maybe less. Dudes are coming in and off the roster lineups, jumping on different teams. Everybody's basically like a hired mercenary that's trying to just make their money. They're trying to feed their family. All these dudes, it's not a real team. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, they want to win a game, but what's mostly on their mind is showcasing themselves. So when you combine like the lack of chemistry, the lack of continuity, on top of the fact that everybody's pretty much out to do their own thing and you know, make them showcase themselves, it's not the best reflection of a playing environment and what you can expect out of these prospects in the big leagues. I believe Victor Wembanyama And I'm not comparing Alex Tuhi to Victor Wembanyama. I'm just using an example. So Victor Wembanyama, I'm pretty sure he had a pretty rough summer league. Didn't shoot the ball great, and then he gets into the league and he's just fine. Now he's a generational prospect. He's probably, if you had to go back the past like 30 years, he's probably like a top 3 or 4 prospect behind Jordan, LeBron, and who else? I mean, Shaq, I guess. I don't even know. Wembanyama's up there. The point is, summer league is super, super random, and it's not inducive to forming a stern opinion of a young player. So with that being said, Alex Tui has had a rough start to summer league. Hasn't been great. I think he was a minus 47 yesterday. Not great. Obviously, it's not great. And when I watch him, in terms of the positives, it looks like he's legit 6'9". He has the size as advertised. Usually when guys say they're 6'9" or 6'8", you look at him, you're like, are you sure? You look like you're 6'7", maybe 6'6". But no, Alex Tuhi looks like he's definitely 6'9", so he has the size. Defensively, he has quick hands. He looks like he's alert and active with his hands, and he does make plays. It's probably not gonna be on the same level as he did in Australia in that league, where he was like always one of the biggest dudes on the court. He's not a great athlete, but over there, the athleticism curve is way lower. The bar is way lower, so over there, he's probably considered a good athlete. So he's making plays. Over here, when you put him surrounded by players that are all at the very least just as athletic, but most of the time they're more athletic, it looks different. The playmaking defensively looks different. And he defensively he didn't look bad, but he definitely didn't look like the same impact guy that from the Australian clips that we've seen. So I mean, that can just be like he's just trying to adjust to the speed of the NBA game. And these aren't even NBA players. These are G Leaguers and overseas guys and just young prospects. So it's not even like the full NBA experience of how fast the game is going to be. But he still looked a little lost. Offensively, he just looked out of place in the half court. He didn't really have anywhere to be. He didn't really have anything that he could do to contribute, except for when he gets on a fast break. The only thing he really does offensively where he looks comfortable is when he's out on a fast break, off of the rebound, he's pushing himself, where he has that 6'9" frame, and it looks like a decent handle, not a great handle, it's not super tight, but it looks like for a guy his size, his handle was okay. It's something to work with, something to build off of. So those are his strengths. He's big, and he looks like he has a workable handle for a guy his size with time. So he only really looks comfortable offensively when he's on a fast break, when he's out and running in an open court, and he's getting towards the rim or he's making a play for somebody. That's when he looks comfortable. But outside of that, in the half court, he looks completely lost. He can't shoot. He's like, his jumper doesn't look broken, but he definitely doesn't have like that natural shooting touch for sure. I think he airballed it was one play he airballed like a floater on the left side of the basket. It was probably like an 8-foot push shot. He just airballed it. I think he airballed another corner three. He's not a natural shooter for sure. That's going to be the main thing that's going to take some time, man. And then besides that, he doesn't really have a place to be on a court because he's also not a great finisher. So it's not like you just dump the ball down to him and then he's just like powering up through dudes, using his size to just like get angles at the rim and just like going up strong. He doesn't really have great strength right now, and he's not a good finisher. It was one play where he got on the fast break and he challenged the big kid, Jensen Yang. I think that's his name. If it's not, I'm sure somebody will correct me. But the big Asian guy, the big Asian prospect, I think he's like 7'1" or something like that. He's a pretty big dude. So he challenged him at the rim on a fast break, and he hit him with a pretty nice Euro. Like, I give him credit for having like the dexterity and like the the footwork to actually get into that Euro and time it and put himself in position to finish the layup for a guy his size, you know. So I'll give him credit there, but he smoked the layup. He smoked the layup. It was a good look. He smoked it. So his finishing touch isn't great. He's not a shooter. He's not athletic. I mean, it's a little tough, man. Now, obviously, it's only been a few games, so hopefully he can like turn it around. Tui, his rhythm looked off. He needs to bulk up though. Yeah, he didn't look in rhythm. It could just be adjustment, Justin. Like, not everybody can just like get thrown on like a team with a bunch of strangers, and then you have like a few days of practice, and all of a sudden you guys are just like this cohesive unit. He definitely probably just needs more structure and be with a team where he has more chemistry. Because the thing with Tui is his strengths were defensive IQ, defensive IQ, defensive playmaking, size, and a handle. But he doesn't. If the communication is off defensively with his teammates, it's hard for him to kind of like do what he does in terms of like taking angles and trying to make plays, not knowing if the guy behind you is going to be in position to help you, like to cover you and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So there's like nuanced stuff like that where, it's stuff like that where you don't really want to just write him off because of summer league, because you want to see him like, I want to see him on a G League team where he's been practicing with the G team. He's been getting reps in. He's familiar with his teammates. He has chemistry built up, and then you see how his attributes look in that setting versus in this setting. But based off summer league from what I've seen, hasn't looked great. He did not look like an NBA player last night against the Blazers. That's just me being honest. He didn't look like an NBA player. Now, again, he's only 21 years old. He's a young dude. But he has a lot of work to do. So I don't see him being a contributor this season. I think he's going to spend his entire season in the G League. So I'll finish by saying strengths. I would say size, a handle that he could build off of, and probably defensive IQ. Defensive instincts. I would say that. Defensive instincts, a handle he can build off of, and size. So now what does that look like as a finished product? I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. But he needs to bulk up. He needs to get stronger. He needs to become a better finisher, and he needs to work on his shot and his handle. So basically everything. He needs to work on everything to be a decent looking prospect, because as of now, the fact that he's like not athletic and you can't shoot and you can't finish, that's it's not enough to just be a big six. It's not enough to just have like a good size and be 6'9". Like, oh, he's 6'9" and he's young, so we got something to work with. No, you actually gotta like have like some other skills that you could build off of. So this ain't me knocking Tuhi or trying to like be negative and whatnot. I want all these young dudes to thrive and look good. I mean, they're part of the organization. I want them all to do good, but I'm just giving you my observation from what I've seen. Last night, he didn't look like an NBA player currently. That doesn't mean it could change in a few months. That doesn't mean he can't improve. That doesn't mean in a completely different setting outside of summer league, he can't look better. I'm just saying in that setting, he didn't look like an NBA player. So let's hope he improves. Yo, shout out to Lucky Trey. Thank you for the donation, my friend. He said, I appreciate your honesty. Yeah, man. It's no point me hopping on here and just like gassing up prospects just to get you guys juiced up and excited. And it's just like just being dishonest and being disingenuous. It's like that's not the goal, man. We're here to talk hoops. We're here, like, we're all Warriors fans here. I'm gonna give my honest takes. And okay, Lucky, I did not say he was a bust. I didn't say that. Don't put those words in my mouth, bro. You said that, not me. I said right now he doesn't look like an NBA player in this summer league setting. That's what I said. Now he can improve. He can look better. Who knows? A year from now, after he spent like a season in the G League, and he goes through his offseason, because he still has to go through the offseason. So he has his offseason that he's gonna go through with the Warriors program. Then he's gonna have a year in the G League. And then next season, he's going to have another summer league and then another offseason. So let's see where he's at a year from now, fast forward, when he has a few off seasons under his belt and some G League experience and some time to adjust to the NBA speed. But he definitely needs to. He needs to bulk up. He needs to tighten his handle. He needs to work on his shooting, and he needs to work on his finishing. So he has a lot of work to do. What's up, Karn? What's up, Broody? What's up, HR? Yeah, that's a good point. You can't call a second round pick a bust. And it's not just like a second round pick where he's like the 35th pick. He was the 52nd pick. Any pick in the 50s, you can't really call him a bust. Because those guys, more than likely, the odds are, I would say probably 85 to 90% of the time, they're not going to make an NBA roster. They're going to have like a cup of coffee in the NBA, and then they're going to get banished to the G League, and then they're going to just be in the G League the rest of their career. They might get called up every now and then, or they'll play overseas. Like, second round picks in the 50s, man, they hardly ever stick. So that's just what it is, man. So I'm not going to write off Tuhi yet. He's a young dude, and it looks like he has like some type of IQ for the game, but he just looks a little lost and sped up right now and out of place. All right, so now let's talk about Will Richard. So Will Richard looks pretty solid, actually. I like Will Richards. One more thing. Before I talk about Will Richards, I want to say Alex Tuhi, I would say his best case scenario comp. This is if everything plays right, everything goes right. His progression just hits every peak it's supposed to. He develops every aspect of his game he's supposed to. His best case scenario is Deni Avdija. If everything plays right, I'm not saying that's gonna happen. I'm not saying that's even likely. That's like probably his best case scenario comp is Deni Avdija. Probably a little more on ball defensive juice. Oh, another thing with Alex Tuhi, I will say he looked comfortable in the perimeter guarding in space. So if he's like a power forward and he's comfortable just like out in space on the perimeter against like smaller players, shiftier players, and he doesn't look lost and he's moving his feet, that's actually pretty solid. So I forgot to mention that. Bro. He did look solid defensively on the perimeter at times. Other times he did get cooked. Now, don't take that Deni Avdija comp. That's not a comp. That is his ceiling if everything goes right. So don't congregate my my quote and say that I said, Holly said he's Deni Avdija in a few years. He's the next Deni. I didn't say that, man. That's crazy. I'm saying just with his body type, his size, like the things that he wants to do with his game, with the handling, pushing in transition, playmaking and whatnot, he would be, if the Deni Avdija comp is like a top 5% scenario. It's like 5% chance, so it's not likely. But yeah, also he has similarities to Guy Santos. So somewhere, Guy Santos probably like the most likeliest scenario. It's like he's like a Guy Santos clone. Maybe a little more juice on ball as a defender, but a little bit worse of a shooter. So something like that. Maybe a little bit better of a ball handler. But anyways, so Will Richards, man. Will Richards. He has some good, he has some bad, but I would say is a lot less negatives with Will Richards than there are with Tuhi. I think Will Richards is straight up the better prospect than Tuhi. Even though Tuhi got drafted before Will Richards, I think the Warriors should definitely be prioritizing Will Richards' development in the system. I think Will Richards actually has a chance to possibly get some NBA minutes this year. I think both players are gonna start out in the G. And based off their performance, they may or may not get caught up depending on injuries and rest nights and whatnot. But with Will Richards, what I like about Will Richards is the jumper looks legit. The jumper is compact, it's quick release. Shooting form looks very, very tight. I like how it looks when he's going up into a shot. Like his feet look like they're always in like gathered in a correct position when he's going up. He's not like it looks like it looks like a shot that can be repeatable, and he's the type of dude that can get shots up, not necessarily be like super efficient, but can be consistent enough to be relied on to hit shots on a daily basis. Will Richards is he's 6'4", shooting guard. I believe he has a 6'9" wingspan, he's kind of short, but he has length and he has some stoutness to him, like he's burly. So that kind of makes up for it. I don't know what his listed weight is. If somebody has his listed weight, look it up for me real quick. But Will Richards, he looks like he has the projection to be a pretty good 3-and-D prospect. I think he's the type of guy that you can project maybe like a 37% three-point shooter, and on the other end of the court, he's a guy that could play some D. He might not be like a all-defense first-team level defender. He might not even be all-defense second team, but he's a dude that can hold his own, can be an asset defensively, can be an option on guys, and he provides the Warriors with a young dude that has some juice defensively. You know, you got Jimmy Butler, who's a good defender, but he's 35. Draymond Green, good defender, but he's 36. You got GB2, who they may or may not bring back, but if they do, he's 32. So a lot of the Warriors defenders are like older guys that probably can't bring it from night to night. So you got this young dude, he's 22, he got some juice. He got some juice in them legs, man. He's a young dude. And he looks like he has a willingness and passion to defend and play some defense. So that's good. It looks like he has good instincts, good hands. Like Tuhi, Will Richards also has good hands. He had a pretty decent amount of steals. I don't know what it is with the tracker for the summer league tracker, but I feel like half the steals they just don't even count it in a box score. Because like I will see Will Richards or Will Richards get a steal, and then I'll like check the box score or whatever, and they didn't count it. I'm just like, where y'all putting that stat at? If the dude that knocked the ball away and picked it up doesn't get the steal, who gets the steal? Like, anyways. So Will Richards, he looks pretty good. You know, he looks pretty good. I like that he gets on a fast break. He runs a fast break hard, and he seeks out contact. It's not like he's running on a fast break and he's like running to the corner and he's just trying to like just throw up some thirsty shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't Steph, I ain't really trying to see that, bro. If you're not Steph or Clay when he was younger, or, you know, I'm not really trying to see that. Like, on a fast break, I would prefer everybody to just run towards the basket and take advantage of the numbers on the fast break and go get the 2 points. So Will Richards on a fast break, he runs hard. He seeks contact. Like, he goes into his bag and he tries to get to the rim, and he tries to go through the defender, and he seeks contact. So I like that. He's not just a 3-and-D guy. Like, it looks like he can catch the ball and attack a closeout and get to the rim and either go for like a floater or some type of something. He could do a little extra with the ball besides just being a 3-and-D prospect. He looks solid. Now, his on-ball defense, he was getting blown by a little bit. So I don't know if that's just him kind of adjusting his angles against like faster players, because, you know, obviously in college you're playing against lesser opponents. You can get away with kind of like gambling and reaching and just like harassing the offensive player more, because there's not as much of an athletic jump difference. You know what I'm saying? So you can like recover better and you can get away with it. But I saw a few times in summer league, he was kind of trying to like harass the ball handler, and he got blown by, and he kind of trying to like make a play from the back and like poke the ball away. And he did successfully do that often. But that's against guys in summer league. You do that against NBA players, like you're not gonna be picking like these starting point guards. Like if you gamble, you better get the ball, because if you don't, the guy's gonna blow past you. He's either gonna shoot a pull up or he's gonna dime up a teammate, and the defense is gonna break down because you're gambling. So I think he probably needs to reel in his aggressiveness a little bit. I don't want to completely neuter him and like just say, hey man, don't take any chances. But he's definitely gonna have to adjust the amount of gambles he takes just from this competition once he's like gets minutes in the NBA, because more often than not, you're not gonna pick these high level point guards, man. It's not happening. But Will Richards looks solid. I think the jumper is going to project well. He gets it off quick. There's a few plays where you can tell when he caught the ball, he already decided he was getting it up. Like it was one play where yesterday against the Blazers where the Warriors were advancing the ball up. Will Richards was on a left wing three. He was waiting for the ball to get to him, and as soon as the ball got to him, it was already a defender kind of in his vicinity, but he already decided he was getting his ball up no matter what. So he caught it. The defender recovered and he was there, but Will Richards was already going up into a shot, and then he made it. And that's where his quick release comes in handy because the defender was already in the vicinity and he was already recovering. But by the time he was like recovering and he got a contest on him, but Will Richards was already in his shooting motion and the ball was already gone. So like his jumper, his release form is pretty quick. It's not Steph Curry quick, but for a prospect coming in, it's pretty quick. And it looks like he's a confident shooter. So we'll see how that translates to that confidence. So my comp for Will Richards is a poor man's KCP. Can he be like 85% of KCP? That would be a pretty good outcome for him. The reason why I won't say he can be just straight up KCP is because KCP was definitely more athletic than Will Richards. Like Will Richards, he looks like he's an okay athlete, but like younger KCP from like 3, 4, 5 years ago, he's pretty athletic, man. Like especially like early Detroit KCP, he's a really good athlete. So I think that's the biggest difference, and I think KCP is just a better on-ball defender. Like he doesn't get blown by as much as Will Richards has thus far. So I would say like a poor man's KCP, but I mean that's a pretty good outcome for like he was a 56 pick in the second round. So if you can get a dude that has, KCP like attributes, on like a smaller scale, but KCP like attributes, he's a guy that you could put out there. He can hold his own defensively. He can hit shots. He's smart. That's another thing. Like it looks like he's a pretty smart ball mover. There was multiple plays where he just, instead of him being thirsty, because he'll receive the ball, and instead of him being thirsty, he'll make the extra pass. It was a few tic-tac-toe alley-oop plays on the fast breaks where the ball got passed to him and he ooped it to his teammate that was also cutting, just because that was the right play to make. Like he could have technically taken a shot because he was kind of open enough to justify taking it, but his teammate was more open, so he just made the extra pass. And this is coming from a dude that he's in summer league. He's playing for a guaranteed contract with the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Like he has every reason to be like, look, bro, I'm taking this myself. I'm like, the front office is watching. I want a guaranteed contract. I'm taking this myself. I'm running it up. But he was like, nah, I'm gonna make the right play. So at least he has enough IQ and intelligence to be like, look, this is what's gonna get me minutes. Making the right play, not being thirsty. Like there's a difference between being aggressive and being thirsty. You don't want to be thirsty because it's not a good look. It just shows you're not a team player. So I think Will Richards is also going to start out in the G League, but I can see him earning his way onto the main roster because the Warriors usually like to run 14 guys on a roster, 14 out of 15 roster spots, and they keep that final roster spot open for like an in-season move. If they convert like a two-way guy, they did it with Quentin Post last season. He started out on a two-way. He played well. They converted him to a standard contract. So I can see Will Richards being a candidate for for starting out on a two-way and getting that converted in season, late in the season, if he continues to impress. But I like what I'm seeing from Will Richards so far. I think he was a pretty solid prospect. So yeah, early returns. Alex too, he looks a little rough, but it's still early, and Will Richards looks pretty solid. Now the other options that they passed on, Kobe Brea. I think he played last night. He went like 4 for 5 from 3. Looked pretty damn solid. Looks like a really good shooter. The Warriors passed on him. They probably just thought his defense, he's not gonna sniff the court because of his defense. He doesn't have the athletic tools they want, and he doesn't have the awareness defensively, the willingness, and you can't put a shooting guard like that next to Steph. Like any guy that they put next to Steph has to at least either have some size, some tools, some willingness, or some IQ defensively. And it looks like Kobe Bryant doesn't have any of that, but he's a really good shooter. So it's going to be games where Kobe Bryant is lighting it up. He's hitting like 5 threes. And us Warriors fans are going to be like, man, the Warriors should have drafted that guy. They could have had him. But I can understand from the aspect of from what the Warriors are trying to build around Steph for these last few seasons as he's getting into his late 30s, coming up on 40. They just don't want dudes next to him that can't play defense. Like they want to draft athletic guys that at least has a willingness to play defense. The other guy, Reynaud, the center that went 40. What did he go? 42, a pick after the Warriors' original pick to the Kings. So Reynaud's a skilled center prospect. He's 7 feet tall. He can shoot. He has post game. He could play make a little bit. Reynaud looks pretty solid, man. Maxime Reynaud. He looks pretty solid, man. I actually got to catch one of his games in person. I went to a Santa Clara versus Stanford game last season. I was in the building for that one. It was in Santa Clara. It was pretty lit, man. I got to see Reynaud up close. He was cooking Santa Clara, bro. The Santa Clara big man. They had Tilly, the tall white guy. Tilly. He was getting cooked. He was getting destroyed. But yeah, Reynaud looks good, man. But I just don't think the Warriors wanted to go like back to back center picks with their second round pick because they drafted TJD with their center pick 2 seasons ago. They got Post last season, and they probably just didn't want to go back to back. But you can argue in a second round pick, hey, best player available. You draft Reynaud, he's the best player on the board. You draft him, and if he outplays TJD or Post, I mean, hey, you got another prospect at center that looks decent. You got Post and you got Reynaud. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out with Reynaud and Sack, but that looks like a pretty solid young player. So we'll see with that. So Taron Armstrong. Taron Armstrong is the Warriors' young player that they brought over from Australia last season and stored in a G League. He's on a 2-way contract already. He's a 6'6" point guard out of Australia. His name is Taron Armstrong. He's been playing in summer league as well. What I like about Taron is I think he has a good handle. That's the two things that stick out is his size. He's a legit 6'6", and he has a good handle. He definitely he can handle pressure. He can deal with pressure. He doesn't like get spun up and like start making mistakes because he's getting pressured. He can deal with pressure, get out of traps, and get the ball where it needs to be. He has decent vision, and he has a decent knack for getting the ball where it needs to go. So I think Taron Martin, and he was hitting shots last game too. What did he go from 3? I think last night he hit 2 threes. What did he go, like 2 for 4? So I think that was like the biggest swing skill that he needed to improve on was his shooting. And so far in summer league, I mean, he's been hitting some shots, man. So let me see what he did. I know he hit like at least 2 threes. Because if his shot's coming around, then that gets very interesting in terms of him as a prospect. So he had 10 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists in 25 minutes. He went 2 for 4 from 3. Okay, so 3 turnovers to 7 assists. You know, it's not bad for summer league. Okay. Yeah, so Taron Armstrong was solid, man. He has the size. He has the vision. And if his jumper is coming along and he's capable of hitting threes, man, that's just even better. So we'll see. Yeah, and also, Taron Armstrong supposedly put on 17 pounds of muscle since coming over, since the Warriors acquired him last season. So he's a pretty big point guard. He's not that athletic, but his size kind of makes up for that. When you combine size with IQ and skill, that can make up for your lack of athleticism. So he has size. It looks like he has some semblance of IQ, and he does have skill. What you see with the ball handling in the passing, that he does have skill, and the shots coming along. So I'm actually intrigued by Taron Armstrong. He's probably going to spend this season in the G League still. He's 23 years old, so he's a little older than you would expect. But I think one more season in a G developing would do well for him to kind of just get acclimated to the speed of the game in the NBA and stuff. And I'm sure he'll have his moments during the season where he'll get called up and he'll get some minutes. But I think the likeliest scenario is Taryn, Will Richards, and Tuhi all start out in a G. I think Tuhi stays there for the season. I think Will Richards gets called up a few times. Taryn Armstrong gets called up a few times. And I think Will Richards is the one that probably is the most likeliest to get his two-way converted into a standard contract so that he's eligible for playoffs. That's just my read on the situation with the prospects from this point into their young careers. Yeah, I think Taryn Armstrong is solid, man. He's not like some amazing prospect, but I think he's pretty solid, like very solid. He still has room to improve. Like he's obviously shown that knack to improve. Like his jumper has improved the past few seasons. So, yeah, if he could turn himself into like a very solid shooter, then that completely transforms his trajectory. Because he has the size, he has the passing, he has the ball handling. If he can just make himself into like a decent NBA shooter, that will go a long way. And he'll be able to play next to Steph and get minutes like that. So because if you play next to Steph, you gotta be able to shoot. I see y'all asking about my bad, man. My throat is sore. I'm sick, bro. So if I sound kind of off, that's why. I see y'all asking about Cryer. Here's the thing with Cryer, man. Cryer can shoot. Cryer's a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like he can get buckets, but I just don't see how he's gonna make. He's not making the Warriors main roster. I don't see them giving him a two-way. The main reasons why, number one, they got Taryn Armstrong on a two-way. He's a 6'6" prospect, 6'6" point guard. What's Cryer? Was he like 6'1"? He ain't 6'2". He's like 6'1". So he's small. And another thing is he doesn't pass. Like he's not really a point guard. Like he's point guard size, so he plays point guard. He's not really a point guard. Like he's really a shooting guard. Like he's out there to get buckets. Like he's a designated marksman. He's a hired mercenary. He's out there to get buckets. And yeah, he'll walk the ball up and like, you know, pass the ball around, but he's not really a point guard. He's not a true point guard. So when have the Warriors ever gone for guys like that? These undersized point guards that don't pass and they're not strong defensively. Cryer is 6'1". Yeah, that looks about right. So he's 6'1". He doesn't pass. He's a microwave scorer in a small body. The Warriors never go for those type of dudes, man. They never do. This kind of reminds me of Mac McClung. Remember Mac McClung when he was playing for the Warriors Summer League team? And he was actually like playing good. He was playing good. He was getting buckets. And everybody was like, yo, we got to get this guy on a two-way. Like, he has to get on a two-way. And then Summer League's over. And then next thing you know, the Warriors just let him go. They're just like, whatever. It's like, bro. It's like, all right, you can get buckets. But it's like you're small. You don't play defense. And you don't pass. So you can't play next to Steph. And then it's just like when you're coming in for Steph, you're not playing Warriors type of basketball. Like you're not passing. Like you have to set the team up. Like we got these veterans that need the ball in their hands. Like you're not gonna come in and just be getting up buckets, like just getting up shots as a 6'1" microwave dude. And you're not playing defense. Like it's not happening. So for those of y'all asking about Cryer, he ain't making a team. It's very, very unlikely he even gets a two-way. I can see the Warriors signing him to their G League team just to have him on their G team and just in their system and kind of just see how he looks. But I don't see him making a team or a two-way contract. Yeah, I remember Mac. They didn't even let him play one regular season game. Exactly. Because the Warriors aren't impressed. It's like, yeah, he was getting buckets, you know, but it's like, if you're not playmaking or making other people better, making your teammates better, and you're not playing defense, and you're hella small, they don't really care about the buckets, man. It's like if you're not like a like actually Lou Williams, or like Lou Williams, or all these other like six men that are actually like Malik Monk. They don't care, bro. Like these G League level microwave dudes that are small, they just don't care. So that's my opinion on LJ Cryer. Any other thoughts from the G League? I think that's pretty much it. So let's get to some rumors, man. So from everything I've heard about the Warriors and their moves, there's some things in the pipeline. There's some things they got some moves that have been made, but not officially, but handshakes. So I'm gonna let that suspense build real quick while I drink some water. All right, so the Warriors, from what I'm seeing and reading and hearing, apparently isn't TJ McConnell like that. Bro, TJ McConnell plays defense. He's a good defender. What do you mean? And he's a good playmaker. Literally, like two of the things I just said. Like TJ McConnell is a good defender and playmaker. So no, TJ McConnell was not like that. But anyways, back to these moves. So it's been reported, and I'm pretty confident in these reports, and everything seems to line up. The Warriors have handshake agreements in place for Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton. What does that mean? That means the Warriors and Al Horford have been locked in since the offseason started, and they have an agreement in place. They can't officially sign a contract right now, but they gave each other their word, like, yeah, we're doing this. And it appears the same is going on with Melton. So backstory, it was reported that the two biggest teams, the two teams that were most in the mix for Melton was the Lakers and the Warriors. At first, it said the Lakers are favored to get Melton. The Lakers are favored to sign Melton. And then the Lakers used up all their mid-level exception. They signed Ayton, and then they signed Jake LaRavia. And they used up all their exceptions. So all they had was a vet's minimum. And all they had is a vet's minimum. And I think they used up all the roster spots too. So the Lakers, so once it came down to like a vet's minimum versus a vet's minimum, the Warriors then became the favorites over the Lakers. And I think the Lakers kind of got the gist that he wasn't gonna sign immediately, so they just filled that roster spot. I think, if I'm mistaken, if I'm mistaken, let me know. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so Melton. So it was reported probably last week. Oh, the Lakers are heavily involved in DeAnthony Melton. The Warriors are in the mix too. But now, ever since then, the Lakers lead is completely quiet. They've made other moves. It's as if they knew Melton was off the table. He's not officially off the table. He's a free agent, but it's as if they got the idea he's signing with another team. The other team is the Warriors. So the Warriors have a handshake agreement in place for Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton. The reason why they haven't signed him yet is because the Warriors are so close to the first apron, the tax apron, that if they sign these guys before dealing with Kuminga, and then the Kuminga situation, his number is a certain number. If his new salary is a certain number, and they already signed these dudes and before dealing with Kuminga, they can be over that could put them over the first apron, and then they're stuck. They can't like maneuver. Versus you sign Kuminga first, you have an idea. All right, this is how much money we have to work with. This is what we have left over to give Horford and Melton. So that's why Horford and Melton haven't signed yet, because the Warriors basically told them, look, we're going to sign you. We're giving you our word, but this is what we have to do with Kuminga in order to know how much money we can give you. And if we have more money left over, we can give you more. So Al Horford, he's like, all right, cool. I'll hang around. I'll tell people I'm considering retirement. I'll chill. Y'all give me your word. I give y'all my word. I'm not going anywhere. We're chilling. So that's where they're at. So everybody that's saying they need to sign Horford, they need to sign Horford, Horford's not going nowhere. He's waiting on the Warriors. If Al Horford was going to go anywhere else, he wouldn't allow all these contenders to sign backup centers and essentially let all his options dry up. Like the Nuggets, they traded for what was the Jonas Valanciunas. The Lakers, what did they get? DeAndre Ayton. Brook Lopez went to the Clippers. The Bucks got Miles Turner. All these teams, all these contenders that can probably use his services, he's not going to just let all these dudes make moves while he's sitting back contemplating retirement. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting back because he already agreed, I'm going to the Warriors. I picked my team. This is where I'm going to go. This is the best situation for me. But we just can't make it official on paper yet because the Kuminga situation. So that's what it is. So as of now, everybody, we can just assume, even though the Warriors technically haven't made any offseason moves, we can just assume, we could pencil them in, that so far the Warriors have secured Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton. Al Horford for the mini taxpayer mid-level exception, which is, I believe, is $5.8 million. And DeAnthony Melton seems to be for the vets minimum. Now, if they can get Kuminga on a discount and it's a lower number, they might have more money to work with. And in that scenario, they can probably give Melton a portion of that mid-level exception, which means they can pay him slightly above the minimum, which is why Melton's cool with waiting, because he's like, all right, I'm gonna sign no matter what. Worst case scenario is the best minimum. Best case scenario, I'll wait a little bit and I get a little bit more. So that's what's going on. So yeah. So from this point on, until proven otherwise, and unless something goes horribly wrong, and these dudes renege on their word and on their handshake and sign somewhere else, I'm under the assumption that the Warriors signed Horford and Melton. Now, it's not officially official, but for the sake of conversation, for the sake of starting a dialogue, we're just gonna operate under that assumption that it's official. Okay, so the Warriors got Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton. So that's starting lineup. And yes, I will start Melton. Yes, I'm starting Melton because the Warriors probably have to promise him a significant role. Because here's the thing, Melton's not gonna sign for the vets minimum just because it's vibes. He's signing for the vets minimum because he wants to rebuild his value here. So the Warriors, bro, just start him. Like he won a starting spot last season over Pods and Moody and Buddy. He's a good player. He already has familiarity with our system because he went through a training camp with us last season. Just start him. It might be rough in the beginning. Just start him. I mean, obviously have a shooting guard competition. Don't just hand him the spot and say, oh, this is your spot no matter what. Have it be a competition. Give him the spot, see how it goes, because the Warriors do need like a point of attack defender in that starting lineup. That would be Melton's job. Melton would be the guy taking on the point of attack guys. Like if they're playing the Grizzlies, Melton's guarding Ja Morant. If they're playing OKC, Melton's guarding Shea, et cetera, et cetera. They need a guy like that. Pods can do that a little bit, but against like stars, I'd rather see somebody else. And it's got to be Melton. So you need somebody in that role that's young, because you don't want Jimmy Butler doing that. He's 35. You don't want Jimmy Butler doing that. So it has to be Melton. So you start Melton. He's that starting shooting guard. He's point of attack. He's 3-and-D. All right, so your starting five is Steph, Melton, Jimmy, Draymond, and Al Horford. Now, the downside is that's an old and vulnerable starting five. Steph's 37. Melton is injury prone. Jimmy Butler's 35 and injury prone. Draymond's 36 or 35. And Al Horford's 39 or 38, 39. Yes, it's an old, brittle starting five. But look, man, this is the cards the Warriors are dealt. They have an old core of expensive players. You're building around Steph Curry. You're building around Jimmy Butler. This is what it is. Like there's not too many alterations they can make to just get all these young dudes that are really good. Because young dudes that are really good are what? They're very expensive. The Warriors can't afford these guys. So y'all complain about the team being old. They're old, bro. Nothing's changing that. Outside of trading for Giannis, they're gonna be old. So instead of complaining about it, just let's look how they can best surround these old dudes with the necessary supporting cast for them to get one more chip. Okay. Yes, Al Horford is old, but Al Horford is also the best center available. Regardless of age, he's the best center available. He's a really good defender. He's the best big man defender we've had outside of Draymond since. Outside of Draymond, Al Horford, current Al Horford, not prime Al Horford. This Al Horford is probably the best defensive center we've had since Bogut, bro. I'm trying to think. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but Al Horford is probably the best Warriors center they've had since Bogut, bro. Defensively. It's crazy. Yeah, so Al Horford's still a good player. I've been deep diving into Al Horford's tape from last season. Man, he moves his feet so well. Like he moves his feet. Here's the thing. Al Horford has been in the league for like 18 years. He knows his body. He knows like his defensive IQ. He mastered angles defensively, just knowing how much space to give an offensive player, how much to gap, how much to how much runway to give them, but still knowing his body, knowing his physical capabilities enough to recover and get a contest. There's multiple plays I've seen they're playing the Cavs. Bro, he got switched on to Darius Garland multiple times. Darius Garland, eyes lit up. He's trying to take him off the dribble. He not only could he not turn a corner on Al Horford on a switch. Al Horford blocked his shot. Back-to-back plays. Blocked his shit. Out of bounds. Garland tried to take him off the dribble, try to drive right. Horford turned his hips, stayed with him, was with him stride for stride, and then blocked him out of bounds. Two different plays in the same game. There's a game against the Lakers I watched too. The Lakers try to pick on him. LeBron and Luka taking turns going ISO against Al Horford all game. They wasn't running no offense, bro. They didn't run a single play that whole game. Their whole offensive scheme was just to go ISO. They try to pick on Al Horford. Probably like 15 straight possessions or 15 possessions in that game where Al Horford was on a switch by himself against LeBron and Luka. He had like 15 stops. They couldn't score him. He was moving his feet. He was containing. He was gapping. He was recovering. He was contesting. He was forcing misses. He's still a really good player. He's extremely intelligent. Like he's extremely smart. He's been in the league forever. He knows his body, and he takes really good care of himself. Like he's in really great shape. Yeah, he's not as athletic as he used to be, but for a man his age, he's in amazing shape. Has Al Horford ever looked out of shape in any of his 18 seasons? Never. He's in amazing shape. He still moves really well. Zaza was cool. No. Al Horford's a way better defender than Zaza, bro. It's not even close. Al Horford can switch out and defend guys. Zaza wasn't switching out defending nobody, bro. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Al Horford, man. So yeah, he's old. It is what it is. He was the best player available. He's better than Chris Boucher. He's better than Thomas Bryant. He's better than who else is available as center. All these other names, he's better than all of them. Age aside, he's better. He's a better offensive player. He's a better defensive player. He's smarter. He's a better passer. And he brings veteran savvy and championship leadership, bro. It is what it is. That's the starting five. So Steph, Melton, Jimmy, Draymond, Horford. Now, what I like about these additions is you're essentially turning GP2 into DeAnthony Melton. You're essentially turning Looney into Al Horford. Now, some of y'all might say, why is that important? You're replacing Al Horford can get punished against Jokic. Okay, Jokic is the best player in the league, bro. Can we, come on, what are we doing here? Whoever you would assign in that spot is going to get punished by Jokic. Insert any free agent center that you signed. You can also finish that sentence with they're going to get punished by Jokic. It doesn't matter. The Warriors can't sign a defensive player of the year caliber center with their funds. They had a certain amount of money available to sign somebody. They're going to sign Al Horford. Nobody else you sign in that spot is going to guard Jokic. It's not happening. Okay? Looney can't guard Jokic. Chris Boucher can't guard Jokic. Thomas Bryant can't guard Jokic. None of these dudes can guard Jokic. So handpicking and nitpicking one player, who's, by the way, the best player in the league, and saying, well, he can't guard Jokic. Who else is going to guard him? That's Draymond's assignment anyways. Draymond has to guard him. Or you put Al Horford on him, and you have Draymond as the backline. You have Draymond and Jimmy as his backline. I trust Al Horford with Draymond and Jimmy behind him more so than I would trust like Chris Boucher or some other like random center. It's like, bro, what are we doing here? Like, come on. Like, let's not go to the extremes to make a point. Like JJ said, McGee, ? McGee was not a good defender. There's a difference between being blocking shots and being an actual good defender. McGee was not a good defender. If McGee was a good defender, he would have played a lot more minutes than he did with the Warriors. He was a vertical threat, an elite finisher at the rim, and he blocked some shots, and he was athletic. He ran the floor. But the reason why he never closed games was because he wasn't a good defender. He can't switch. His IQ defensively was a little questionable at times. Now, McGee in his younger age, when he was with the Nuggets, was a better defender. But as he got older, that wasn't necessarily the case, especially with the Warriors. So anyways, yeah. What was I gonna say? Y'all always get me on these tangents with this center position, man. I can't stress this enough. The Warriors are working with the funds they have. You guys always like downplay Al Horford, but then the other options are nowhere near as good. And if they are, the Warriors can afford them. So keep that in mind. So, oh yeah, I know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so the reason going from GP2, you're basically turning GP2 into Melton, and you're turning Looney into Al Horford. The reason why that's important is because the Warriors had a lot of flaws in their rotation last season. They had a lot of dudes that either that couldn't shoot, and when you bring in Jimmy, that's another guy that doesn't really want to shoot a three, and he needs spacers around him. So when you bring in Jimmy and you got Looney out there, you got GP2 out there, those aren't the type of players that you could put around a Jimmy Draymond like duo. You just can't. So the Warriors was like, look, everybody in the rotation has to be able to hit a shot outside of around those guys. So they're turning GP2 into Melton, and Melton's essentially GP2 defensively, but he can also shoot, and he can also dribble and play backup point guard. So Melton is just a way more overall better player than GP2 in every aspect of the game. GP2 might have the edge defensively, slightly, possibly, but it's marginal. And then Melton's just better at everything else. And he's a way better fit around Jimmy Butler and Steph and Draymond. He's a dynamic three-point shooter. What is he, career 37%? He's just solid. So he has just way more versatility than GP2. And it just, in those lineups where you will have GP2 out there and it was just the team is sagging off GP2. They're not guarding them. It was just rough, man. So with Melton, you can't do that. So now you turn Looney into Al Horford. Why is that important? Because as we know, Looney's a non-shooter and he couldn't finish. So you couldn't play him next to Draymond anymore. That front court duo was done. You can't play those two together no more. So you can only play Looney when Draymond wasn't on the court. So that limited his versatility. And on top of that, you can't really play Looney with Jimmy Butler now. So now it's all right. Well, when and where do you play Looney? Because those guys need spacers. So it became a point where it's like, bro, Looney can't. He just doesn't fit in this iteration of what the Warriors are building with the roster with Jimmy Butler on board. So they turn Looney into Horford, who is a vet center, a steadying presence defensively, and he can shoot. He's a really solid shooter, actually. So you're now putting a center next to Jimmy and Draymond, who can shoot very respectably, who can also pass, and can also be another defensive vocal guy defensively. So it's a perfect fit next to Jimmy and Draymond. He spaces the floor, and he passes the ball. And defensively, you don't have to cover for him as much. He can hold his own defensively. He can actually help you guys out defensively. So I'm excited to see the Draymond, Jimmy, Horford front court. The level of basketball IQ is probably the best in the league for a front court, across the board. To start a small forward, power forward, center in terms of experience, IQ, passing, playmaking, probably the best in the league. So I'm excited to see that. I'm very excited to see that. I think Horford's going to be a seamless fit, and the thing about the Horford fit that makes everything fit into place better is he just unlocks so many lineup combinations. Because Horford, I did some research, and he played 50% of his minutes at power forward last season. He played a lot of minutes next to Kristaps Porzingis. He played a lot of minutes next to Luke Cornett, and he still can he still plays power forward. He's still capable of it. I was watching the Orlando series. He was guarding Paolo. Obviously, Paolo was doing what he does and stuff, but he was holding his own. He was out the Celtics felt comfortable enough to put Al Horford on Paolo. He was guarding Paolo for possessions and whatnot and stretches. So that just shows his versatility. He's an old guy, but you can play him at power forward and put him on pretty solid players, and he can at least hold his own. I'm not saying he's gonna lock down anybody. I'm just saying he can hold his own, and he's not a punk. You're not gonna just pick him out the lineup and all right, let's go at Horford. He's old. Let's pick on the old man. He ain't no punk, bro. You ain't about to just pick on him like that. So the Lakers tried to do that with Luke and LeBron. It didn't work. So, and now you got Jimmy and Draymond as the two backline defenders behind him. So you try to pick on Horford. You got Draymond cracked out behind him flying around. You got Jimmy Butler cracked out behind him flying around. You got Melton on the weak side in the passing lanes. Shit ain't sweet, bro. It's not going to go down like that. Dudes think it's not going to be sweet like that, man. So we gonna see. So with what I like about the Horford signing is you have a guy, a center option besides Quinton Post. That's a spacing shooter. That's a spacing big man, but also is more balanced in the fact that you don't have to cover for him as much defensively. He's a two-way center. He can play defense and he can space the floor. With Quinton Post, it's basically all offense, very little defense. So you have to kind of mix and match with Quinton Post and pick his spots better and use him more as a chess piece versus Al Horford. You can just play him just across the board in more lineups and not have to worry about, in this matchup we can't really in this matchup we can't really play Al Horford because this team is going to cook him. This team, with Quinton Post in certain lineups, you're you literally can't start because you're going to get destroyed. You literally can't start. You know what I'm saying? But with Al Horford, it's all right, you start him, you'll see how it goes, and then you'll make adjustments throughout the game. If you got to get TJD in there, if you got to get Quinton Post in there, if you got to go to Draymond at center, you do that. But for the base lineup, you just have Al Horford out there. He's just rock solid, man. Al Horford's also a great mentor for Quinton Post. Quinton Post got a good man. His mentors coming into the league, bro. So he had Kevon Looney his rookie season. Shout out to Kevon Looney, Warriors legend. Get that bag. Elite bag finesser. He's finessed the Pelicans for $16 million, but shout out to Looney, man. But yeah, so Quinton Post had Looney his rookie season, probably the best vet center the best vet you can have. Like Looney has like always been one of the Warriors' best vets for the young dudes. Just the best likable, just like mentor you can have. Just kind of just showing you like the ins and outs of just like all the big man little tricks, like boxing out, like rebounding, how to use your size and your weight to lean on the other guy and get away with certain little things and just little tricks like that. Looney mastered all those little tricks, bro. So he learned a lot from Looney. He also has Draymond in his ear that obviously tells him a lot. But Al Horford is another veteran, 18-year vet, championship experience, just as professional as they come, great role model, great mentor. Another dude that's just gonna give him game, and another dude that's more similar to Quinton Post's play style as a stretch five. He can kind of pass along more stuff for Quinton Post to implement more so than Looney ever could because Looney was a limited player, So yeah, I like it for Quinton Post. It takes the pressure off Quinton Post having to perform like in those matchups where the Warriors have to have shooting out there, and it's just like it's a bad matchup for Quinton Post defensively, and you kind of got to live with it, and you're like, fuck, it's not a good matchup for him, but we need the shooting, so we gotta just live with it. And then Quinton Post is getting destroyed. Now you got Al Horford, who's an option out there to space the floor, and he's not gonna get destroyed. So you have two options. You can go with Al, you can go with Quinton, and just having two options, you mean just more minutes on the floor with a space and big, versus only Quinton Post is 20 minutes a game out there, where you have shooting at the five. Now you have Al Horford's 20 to 25 minutes, and then Quinton Post is like 15 minutes, whatever the case may be, where you have shooting at the five spot, which just opens up the offense for every lineup the Warriors run. Also, the Warriors have the option now to go double big. They can go double big with shooters. They can go double big with Al Horford at the 4 and Quinton Post at the 5 and it not be a disaster defensively. Because Al Horford, as I mentioned, can play power forward. He can hold up defensively. You can have a lineup where you have, like, let's say Jimmy Butler at the 3. You got Al Horford at power forward. You got Quinton Post at center. And then let's just say you got, like, Steph and Milton at the 1 and 2. Or whatever the case, insert whatever at the 1 and 2. So you can go double big to match with other teams that are going big while not sacrificing spacing. You play against the Rockets and they run Şengün and Steven Adams. You could put Al Horford on Şengün. You could put Quinton Post on Steven Adams. You're not giving up spacing. You still got shooters, and hopefully you still be respectable defensively. So the Al Horford signing, just his presence and his shooting and his steadiness offensively and defensively, just makes the Warriors way more versatile. Now you don't have to play Draymond at center just to like make a playoff push. You don't have to wear down Draymond. Draymond has a dude that's bigger than him at center that's also a better shooter that allows Draymond to comfortably play power forward. So even if Al Horford's stats don't pop off the screen, just his presence and his ability to open up the floor, be solid, make smart decisions for other teammates is going to make a huge difference, man. I'm telling y'all, bro. My throat is killing me. Let me see what y'all talking about up here. Buddy out here imagining lineups when Dunleavy haven't done anything. What's the point of being negative, bro? Like, we're literally just talking hoops. Like, it's not. It's always that one dude that gotta just like be that guy. Oh, he's imagining lineups. Yeah, I'm going through hypothetical lineups based off of reports. It's the offseason, bro. Like, y'all be hella funny sometimes. But anyways, let's see what we talking about up in here. Oh yeah, so outside of Al Horford and Melton, other names the Warriors have been rumored to be interested in is Seth Curry, Trey Lyles, and Ben Simmons. I'm cool with Ben Simmons. I don't want no parts of him. He's buns, bro. He's done. He's trash. He was buns on the Clippers. He's buns. I don't want no parts of him, bro. He's done. Um, but Trey Lyles though, Trey Lyles and Seth Curry, I'm on board. Sign me up for Seth Curry. Sign me up for Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles was cooking us in that King series a few years ago. He's a solid vet. He's a passable shooter, not like amazing, but he's a passable. I mean, he's 6'9". For a 6'9" power forward slash small ball center, shoot like what 35% from three, 36% from three. He can keep the defense honest. He's a dude that's capable of hitting shots out there. He provides some lineup utility. Like I say, he's a power forward. He can play small ball center. He's also like what I was watching like some Trey Lyles tape. His best asset is, and this is kind of like the thing that Kyle Anderson did really well, is he's really good at catching the ball and attacking that closeout when the defender's closing out. He'll put the ball on the floor and he'll make a play for somebody else. He's really good at that, and it looks like that's his preferred thing that he wants to do is put the ball on the floor and either finish himself or make a play for somebody else. So just having like a front court player that has that ability, kind of like think Kyle Anderson. You know how Kyle Anderson would pump fake in the corner, and then he'll put the ball on the floor, and then he'll drive in slow motion, and then he'll kick to somebody else. So Trey Lyles can do that. Trey Lyles has a good enough handle to where he can attack closeouts without like being out of control. Like he's under control, and he can make a play for somebody else. He's a pretty solid vet in terms of like having like the court vision to make a play. And then every now and then he does like get a block shot here and there. So I like Trey Lyles in terms of like just value for a vet's minimum. Trey Lyles is as solid as they come, man. Just think. I'm trying to think of a comp. I can't think of one right now, but yeah, Trey Lyles for the vets minimum would be amazing. He'll be your third string power forward and also like your fourth string center. So he'll play behind Draymond and Kuminga, and then I guess you can kind of like between him and Gee, whatever. Gee will probably play some minutes at small forward, but he'll be in that mix with Gee, and then he's an option for a small ball center as well. To where, you know, let's say you're resting Al Horford a game, and then your center rotation is down to Post, TJD, and Draymond. You can also throw Trey Lyles in the mix at the center spot. He can steal some minutes at a small ball center. You're cool off Trey Lyles on a vet's minimum? Bro, it's a vet's minimum. What are we doing here? Bro, I'll take Trey Lyles for the vet's minimum in a heartbeat, bro. In a heartbeat. So Trey Lyles, and then they're also interested in Seth Curry. The reason why, now I know a lot of people will probably be like, man, Seth Curry, he's only 6'2", don't play no defense, he's 34. I get it. I get all that. But hear me out. Seth Curry is one of the best standstill spot-up three-point shooters in NBA history. For his career, I think Seth Curry shoots 43% from three for his career. And he has seasons where he routinely shoots like 45% from three, like 44% from three. Like he is one of the best. Just stand still, knock down. I catch the ball wide open. My feet are set. He's one of the best of all time. Seth Curry. He's just. I think the biggest thing we learned is the Warriors need guys that can hit shots. When Steph went down against the Timberwolves, nobody can hit a shot, bro. Like in the playoffs, outside of Buddy, shout out to Buddy Hield. He was taking flack all season. I was kind of getting on a roasting too myself because he was a goofball at times. But in the playoffs, he kind of, I backed off. I was like, yo, props to Buddy because he's a goofball. But number one, he's available. He played every single game. You never have to rest him. He's just always available. He's 31, but like he's one of those dudes that's always in shape, plays basketball year round. Never gets tired. So he's always available, which is a skill. And I mean, that's like an asset by itself. Somebody who's always available. And then he was hitting shots in the playoffs, man. He literally extended the Warriors series against the Rockets. What was that, game 6 or game 7? Where he went crazy. But yeah, anyways. But Seth Curry. So Seth Curry is one of the greatest standstill knockdown shooters in NBA history. So what we learned from the playoffs last season is the Warriors, when Steph went down, when he pulled the hammy, nobody else can hit a shot consistently. Like at that point, you just gotta have dudes that the other team can't disrespect. Like the moment Steph went down, the Timberwolves' game plan was, all we gotta do is load up on injured Jimmy Butler, and no one else is gonna do anything. We'll guard Buddy Hield, but everybody else, just leave them, and nobody can do anything. It worked. So you need dudes where if Steph is out, if you rest Steph one game, you got Seth. Seth is not Steph Curry. He's not as dynamic of a shooter. He's not as much of a weapon offensively. But just to have somebody out there, when you're running your stuff with Draymond, you're running your stuff with Jimmy, you put them out there, and I wish a team would leave them open. I wish a team would run that janky defense and try to cheat off of Seth. I wish they would. It's not happening, bro. And just to have a specialist like that you could put out there, for the vets minimum, by the way, it's going to be for the vets minimum. One of the greatest just knockdown standstill shooters in NBA history. He's a smart vet. He's high IQ. He's not going to make mistakes. Now, defensively, he's a cone. Like, he's going to get cooked defensively. He's small. He's smaller than Steph. He's 6'2", like 185. So he's even smaller than Steph, or 6'1" probably. I don't know. He's small. But he's smart. He's going to make the right play. He's not going to make mistakes. And he's not a thirsty shooter. If he's open, he's going to take it. But he's not like some thirsty dude that's going to jack up shots. I think even if he doesn't play every night, he's just a dude to have at the end of the bench for emergencies. Let's say you're down 10, 15 points. You got to make a run. All right, just get Seth in the game. Let's just run like a let's just get some offense on the court. Let's just get some shooters. Let's just put the ball in Steph's hands, Steph and Jimmy's hands, put shooters out there, and let's just make a comeback. They're going to generate shots. We're going to have these dudes you cannot leave, and the team's got to decide. You guard Steph straight up, or you leave these dudes in the corners. If you got Seth over there, teams ain't leaving Seth. So just having a dude like that as an option for the vets minimum in a rotation, or not even in a rotation, but just on the bench. Think of Steve Kerr during a Bulls run with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Just that guy at the end of the bench. He probably doesn't play every night, you know. Some nights he gets 10 minutes, some nights he gets 15, some nights he might get 25 minutes just because that's just what the game called for. But just having that dude at the end of the bench, who's one of the greatest just standstill shooters, teams got to respect him. I think that's valuable. Also, for the vibes, Steph's brother. I've always wanted Seth on the Warriors. Just having him in for the vibes would be dope. So I'm with that. I would love to add Seth Curry for the minimum. So if it was up to me, assuming the Warriors sign Al Horford and Melton, who all signs point to them having a handshake agreement already in place with them, meaning they already agreed, they're already on board. They're just waiting for the Kuminga situation to be resolved so that the contracts can be finalized. I would also add Seth Curry and Trey Lyles for the vets minimum, and that would pretty much round out the roster. That would have the Warriors, assuming Will Richards and Tuhi gets put on two-way contracts with Taron Armstrong, adding Horford, Melton, Seth, and Lyles will have the Warriors at 14 out of 15 roster spots available. And they will have that 15th spot open for tax shedding reasons, and also for flexibility to make a move. If they have to make a trade and they got to take on an extra player, they have that extra slot so they ain't got to cut somebody and waste money. Or if they want to promote one of their two-way guys at the end of the season, they could just promote them and just put them in that 15th spot. They don't got to cut somebody. So in a starting lineup, you can't have three guys who can't hit a free ball. Exactly. That's the thing. So with this new lineup with Steph, Melton, Jimmy, Draymond, and Horford, everybody can shoot. Everybody can hit a shot outside of Jimmy and Draymond. So, and you don't have to go small to get to that point. Horford, you can start traditional size with Horford. No, you don't have to have 15 players on a roster. You get fined if you have less than 13 for a certain amount of time, though. I really hope Kerr don't run Melton, Al, Dre, Curry to the ground. See, that's where the young dudes come in. That's where Pods, Moody, Kaminga, Quinton Post, and Guy Santos come in handy. All those dudes are in their mid to early to mid 20s. Those guys are gonna play a lot of minutes, and they're at the age where that's expected. Pods, you're going to year 3. I expect a lot. Moody, you're going to year 5. Kaminga, you're going to year 5. Quinton Post, going to year 2, but you're 25 years old. Oh yeah, and TJD. I forgot to say TJD. TJD, you're 25 years old, going to year 2. Those dudes are gonna have to step up, and when the older guys need rest nights, when they can't play back to backs, those guys are gonna have to play a lot. So that's what it is. But yeah, y'all let me know how would y'all feel if the Warriors offseason was Melton for the minimum, Horford, Seth Curry for the minimum, and then Trey Lyles for the minimum. And then they re-sign Kaminga on a contract that's respectable. How would y'all feel about those moves going into the season? Everybody give me a yay or nay for that hypothetical scenario. Just put yay or nay. If you want to elaborate beyond that, that's fine. TJD in year 3. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Quinton Post is going to year 2. Quinton Post is going to year 2, and TJD is going to year 3. Thank you for correcting me. That was just a brain fog moment. So again, Steph, Melton, Jimmy, Draymond, Horford, starting 5. You add Seth Curry and Trey Lyles to what you got going on with the bench. So your second unit would be, actually got it written down. Let me see. So your second unit, you got Pods, Buddy, Moody, Kaminga, Post, TJD, Trey Lyles, Guy Santos, and Seth Curry. And then with your two-way guys, you got Armstrong, Will Richards, and Tuhi. So that puts you at 14 roster spots out of 15. All right, let me say this. Would y'all rather have Chris Boucher or Trey Lyles for the vets minimum? Yeah, would y'all rather have Chris Boucher or Trey Lyles? If you can only pick one for the vets minimum, they're signing Horford. But in addition to Horford, would you rather have either Chris Boucher or Trey Lyles? Let me get a yay or nay. Oh shit! I forgot to fuck. I forgot to do something. But y'all keep voting, man. I gotta do something real quick. I keep forgetting to cut on my monetization, man. All right. Okay, all y'all are saying Boucher, basically. Here's the thing with Chris Boucher. I don't mind either. If whether they get Boucher or Trey Lyles, I'll be fine with it. The reason I prefer Trey Lyles over Boucher is because he's more sound defensively in terms of just team defender, and he's just a higher IQ player in terms of just playing team ball, extra passing, that more complementary role. Where Chris Boucher, he comes out there, he's more so just out there to shoot. Defensively, he's lost a lot. He might get like a block every now and then because of his length. He's 6'9" with length, but Trey Lyles is a better defender. Offensively, he plays more of a team-oriented style that complements the Warriors better. With like I said, the attacking the closeouts, the playmaking, the secondary like complementary extra passing and playmaking. He just fits more seamlessly into what the Warriors are doing versus Chris Boucher. I could see Steve Kerr just benching him. Like obviously he'll play him, but I could see him catching like a bunch of DMPs and being like in the doghouse because he's like messing up too many defensive assignments. And then Kerr is just like, nah, bro, you're in a doghouse for like a month. Versus Trey Lyles, I can see Trey Lyles being one of those vets that Steve Kerr just can't keep off the court. Like he just loves him because he's always making the right play. So I'm not against either, but I would prefer Trey Lyles because I think in a playoff scenario, I think Chris Boucher would be unplayable. I just don't think Kerr would play him or he wouldn't trust him. Versus Trey Lyles, I can see Trey Lyles giving you some minutes in the playoff series just because he's more rock solid across the board. Now, Chris Boucher is probably a better shooter, but Trey Lyles is probably better at everything else. Yo, shout out to my homie Danny B TV, my real life homie. It's my dog, man. Thank you for the donation, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing love, bro. Let me know if you got any questions, Danny, about the roster, about whatever. Chris Boucher shoots better and rebounds. I gotta double check the better rebounder stat. I know per 36 minutes, Trey Lyles. I checked it yesterday. Trey Lyles per 36 minutes last season, he averaged like 8.4 rebounds per game. I think for his career that kind of lines up. He's at around like 8 something. Cole Anthony agrees to a buyout with the Grizzlies and plans to sign with the Bucks. Oh, Cole Anthony's going to the Bucks. That's a good pickup for the Bucks. They needed a point guard because they waived Dame. So the Bucks picked up Miles Turner and now they're getting Cole Anthony. It's a pretty good move for both sides. Cool. But yeah, Cole Anthony, yeah. He was never come to the Warriors. The Warriors don't got money to give him. But anyways, so yeah. So that's my stance on Boucher versus Trey Lyles. So I prefer Trey Lyles, but I would not be mad at Chris Boucher on a minimum. I definitely wouldn't be. But I just have a feeling in terms of Steve Kerr, he would have Boucher in the doghouse way more often than not versus Trey Lyles. I could see him having him. He'll probably be one of his favorites. So that could be a good thing or bad thing in terms of just like overplaying a guy that's like, average or whatever. But that's where I stand on that. What are the chances of us laming Damian Lillard? That's completely up to Dame. It sounds like Dame's first. It sounds like Dame's two options is the Celtics and the Warriors. The Celtics because he gets to be in that coacher over there. He probably admires that coacher, and him and Tatum. I think they're friends, and he gets to rehab with Tatum from their Achilles injuries together. And then they can hit the ground running next season. Him and Tatum are out this season. It's a gap year for him, and then next season it'll be him, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown as a big three, and they just hit the ground running, and that's just what he's on. And then he can play here. I'm sure he would love to play. He's from Oakland. For those of y'all who don't know, Damian Lillard's from Oakland. So obviously he would love to come play for the Warriors, but he probably knows he's probably not going to start. He's going to have to come off the bench for Steph. And it might be nights where you don't close. Versus with the Celtics, they traded Drew Holiday. He's going to close. He's pretty much going to close every night. It's going to be Dame, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, and whoever they play at center. So he's probably looking at it like that. With the Warriors, it's going to be a smaller role, but he gets to live out his childhood dream of playing for his hometown team. But with the Celtics, he gets to hop back on with a team that's going to be back in the mix next season. And being a coach that he probably admires. So I heard that the two teams that Dame is most looking forward to is the two teams at the top of Dame's list are the Celtics and Warriors. Now, as the Warriors, when I signed Dame, I would sign Dame, even though he's not gonna play this season. He's probably not. There's rumors that he might come back for like a playoff run or something. I don't really see that being a thing. I think he's gonna have to sit out the whole season, which is probably smart, probably wise. At his age, he's 35 years old. It's probably wise to just sit out to next season and hit the ground running next season. But if I'm the Warriors, if securing Dame for next season meant signing him this season on a 2-year contract and have him just rehab and just kind of be around the team, I would do it. I would do it for the simple fact that Dame off the bench next season would be amazing. He would essentially be Jordan Poole, the Jordan Poole replacement for dirt cheap. He's getting paid by Milwaukee for the next 5 seasons. I think they're giving him 23 million a year for the next 5 years. So money isn't necessarily at the top of the list for him. Maybe it is. Who knows, man? I'm not that man. I don't know where he prioritizes things. But he's going to be getting paid 23 million a year from the Bucks for the next 5 years, which is probably going to be the for the rest of his playing career. He's 35 years old. Was he 34, 35? The next 5 years. So yeah, they're probably going to be paying him for the rest of his playing career. So from this point on, he can prioritize situation and winning a championship if he really wants to win a championship that bad. So if he comes to the Warriors, I will welcome it I would welcome that move with open arms. I would love to have Dame. I think that'd be lit, bro. I think Dame off the bench next season, just for the vibes. Like imagine like a game at Chase Center. You got Dame checking in. You got Dame doing his Dame time celebration. You got Steph hitting a night. They're just like letting it rain from 3. They're just having those nights where they're both unconscious. They're both just getting them up. And then you still got Jimmy Butler. It'll just be fun, man. Just for the vibes, bro. So I would love to have Dame. That'd be cool. King Corey, what's up? Too much, what's up? Pound Metal Money, what's up, bro? Will Live Sports Talk, what's up, my man? Sign Beal. Okay, so let me mention Bradley Beal. So there's been a recent report this week that Bradley Beal hasn't been bought out officially yet, but he's getting close. And the Clippers are the favorite to sign him. So the fact that the Clippers traded Norman Powell to the Heat and got back John Collins in a 3-way trade with the Utah Jazz and Miami Heat, that indicates they have a strong inclination that Bradley Beal is willing to sign there. Or else, I mean, trading Norm Powell for John Collins, I'm not making that trade unless I'm getting Bradley Beal back. So then it's essentially Norman Powell out and John Collins and Brad Beal in, I would do that. But if it's just you're trading Norm Powell for John Collins and you're not sure if Brad Beal comes and he doesn't come, that's a bad trade. So yeah, I think that if I had to guess, I'm saying I would say Bradley Beal is going to the Clippers. But if the Warriors have an opportunity to get him, I would take him in a heartbeat. Bradley Beal would be amazing playing off of Steph, playing off of Draymond, playing next to Jimmy. The floor would be space. You got Horford at the 5. That would be great. Bradley Beal would be the third option the Warriors desperately need. And most nights he'll probably be the second option because we know how Jimmy likes to pass and kind of like preserve his body. So the pitch to Bradley Beal would be like, yo, bro, you come here, you're the second option basically. Like Jimmy doesn't want to shoot. Like Jimmy wants to pass the ball into the playoffs, bro. So you come here, you're the starting 2 guard next to Steph. We could run back you could sell him on look at Klay Thompson in the younger days, the Splash Bros. You're gonna be in that same situation. You're gonna play off of Steph. It's gonna be lit. You're gonna have this huge role, and you're gonna win a championship. You're gonna be in a championship contender. So that's the pitch. Hold on. So that's the pitch. But it looks like the Clippers are the favorite to land them. And honestly, Bradley Beal would be much needed because the Warriors need a third shot creator / scorer behind Steph and Jimmy. Because as we've seen, Jimmy, it's nice for Jimmy to say he ain't shooting. Jimmy's literally just like, hey, bro, y'all own tonight. I'm passing. I'm gonna play defense. I'm gonna pass, and I'm gonna do some little. I'm gonna be Andre Iguodala tonight. Like Jimmy basically decides a few nights a week he's Andre Iguodala, and that it is what it is. Like he's preserving his body, and that's just kind of what he does. So having like Bradley Beal Who, yeah, Bradley Beal was catching some slander last season, but that's only because number one, he was getting paid like $50 million a year, and then number two, he was talking crazy. He was like hella arrogant, and they was talking crazy about how the Suns were gonna do something, and then they came up they didn't even make the play-in, bro. Right? Yeah, they missed a play-in. That was crazy. That's embarrassing. But if you're talking about Bradley Beal on a vet's minimum, bro, he's still a bucket. Like he's still a really good player. Like Bradley Beal right now, he's better than Jordan Poole. Like you will be essentially adding a more polished Jordan Poole, a more polished veteran version of Jordan Poole that's more efficient, and you just slot him in there. That would be crazy if you add Bradley Beal to this team next to Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond. They have all the offense they need, and they have the supplementary defenders that they need. You got Melton, you got Jimmy, you got Draymond, you got Horford. Defensively, you got Moody off the bench. You got Paz. You can kind of play some. He can play some defense. He ain't no chump. You hope Kuminga takes a leap. You have the offense and defense, and you got the stars. So that would be a great great move. My bad. Beal is washed AF. What do you consider washed, bro? Like he had an efficient season. Defensively, yeah, defensively he wasn't great because the culture over there was no defenders. There's nobody else was playing defense. The whole team wasn't playing defense. You can't just have Beal out there in a lineup next to Tyus Jones and Devin Booker, and then you got like Yusuf Nurkic at center. Like no one's playing defense, and then expect him to be out there and be like a lockdown defender. Nobody was playing defense, bro. But to say Beal was washed is kind of crazy. He's not washed. I mean, he's not in his prime anymore, but he's still an efficient scorer. He can give you 20 points a game. He shot, what did he shoot last season? Like 50% from the field, almost 50% from the field, and 40% from three. I was gonna say, my bad, y'all. I'm sick, man. I'm losing energy right now, dude. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Oh yeah, one more question. Would y'all rather have, if y'all could only choose one or the other for the one vet minimum slot, would you rather have Seth Curry or bring back GB2 for the vest minimum? You only have one or the other. Let me know. Put yay or nay in the chat. Um, but yeah, man. Oh yeah, by the way, if y'all enjoying the video, man, like the video. If you haven't already liked the video, bro, I appreciate y'all for pulling up on me, man. Akibo said Paz better not be a starter. Well, if they're signing Melton, like all signs point to, Paz should be coming off the bench. Everybody vote, man. Seth or GP2. You can only have one. I see a lot of y'all are saying Seth. Some people are saying GP2. Okay. It's a close one, huh? It's a tough one. Yeah, I think I would. Nah. If they get if they get Milton, I mean, he basically replaces GB2's role as a defender. They need dudes. I think the Warriors are tired of having dudes on the court that can't shoot. Like they're tired of these dudes, like these role players that just can't shoot, man. Like we saw in the playoffs, how teams was guarding the Warriors, especially when Steph was on the court. Mike Dunleavy saw that. He's just like, bro, I'm sick of it, man. I'm tired of it, bro. I'm tired of these dudes that can't shoot. Like GB2, it was okay, but it was okay a few years ago when he was like this all otherworldly defender, just this amazing defender. But now that he's lost a step defensively, it's not as forgivable. Like GB2 has definitely lost a step defensively. He gets blown by pretty often these days. Like before, it was like probably like one or two dudes in the league that could blow by him. That was probably like John Morant and Fox were probably like the only two dudes that can blow past GP2 in 2022. Now, I mean, he was getting blown by James Harden in that final game in the regular season. James Harden was blown by him at will, bro. So, and James Harden ain't no spring chicken. He's like 35 years old. So, but yeah. Do I think GB2 can get back to his defensive peak? No, his defensive peak is gone. He's never going to be that player again. You understand. First of all, small guards, unless you're Steph Curry, small guards don't age well in the league. Just the wear and tear of playing like a long career as a smaller guy, you don't age well. Guys like GB2, he is overly reliant on his athleticism. His athleticism is everything. The moment he gets older, and right now he's 32 years old? So he's past his physical prime. He's never going to be as athletic as he was 4 years ago. Never. No matter how much training he does, no matter how healthy he is, he'll never be as athletic as he was. So with players like him that rely on their athleticism, once you lose that athleticism, you're not necessarily skilled in other aspects of the game to preserve your career in terms of like shooting, playmaking, passing, all that stuff. He's a specialist that relies on his athleticism to be this effective version of himself defensively. So when he loses athleticism, coincidentally, along with that, he's not going to be as effective of a defensive player. I'm not saying he's a bad defensive player. He's still a good defensive player because of his IQ defensively, his instincts, his anticipation, his hands, like all those things to make it to where like he's always going to be a positive defensively. But he's just not going to be anywhere close to what he was. It's just the fact that he's aging. He's 6'2", 6'3", and he's 32 years old. Like it's just, and then also he's had a bunch of injuries and surgeries with his legs. He always has some calf injuries or some leg injuries. All those injuries over an extended period of time, even though you fully recover from them, but all those injuries over an extended period of time just kind of like zaps your athleticism in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? Just getting like an MCL sprain, and then you get like an ACL tear, then you get like a calf strain, then a calf strain, then a hamstring pull, then a hamstring tear, and you have all these injuries like one thing every year basically over like the course of like 6-7 years. Like that's gonna kind of like zap your athleticism a little faster than like the natural progression would. So LeBron still looks athletic because he's genetically literally like top 1% ever. Like LeBron hit the genetic lottery that no other person's gonna hit for a long time. Like the dude's 6'9", 260, and he's 40 years old, and he's still a good athlete. It's just, I mean, it's not just genetics. Like he works hard to keep it to preserve his body, but a lot of that is just genetics, man. You can't replicate that. What LeBron's doing. But anyways. I'm losing my voice. I'm going to call it right here. We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to call it right here. If you haven't liked the video already, please like the video. Thanks for pulling up on me, man. I appreciate it.